Help us change the culture by buying our latest single from Timcast Records, Only Ever Wanted, by clicking the link in the description below. I want to jump to the story from The Post Millennial.
Ooh, it's us again.
Threefer.
Bomb threat at Boston Children's Hospital ruled false. Police report. No suspicious items were observed or located. An incident report from the Boston Police Department specifies. I just want to say that my initial assessment here was that it was a hoax and a hoax. But now it appears it's a hoax, and a hoax. So I'll explain, and then I'll throw it to Billboard Chris. But the first story is clearly the bomb threat itself was clearly fake. But also, the police did not even show up until an hour and 20 minutes after the call came in. And they did not clear the area until about an hour later. So I'm like, okay, the police weren't even taking it seriously.
It was around 8 o'clock that the call came in.
9:20 when the police actually showed up. And then 10 o'clock when they actually cleared the space out. So you have the hoax of the call itself. Mm-hmm. You have the hoax of the media narrative that everything got shut down. And now what's the latest?
So, yeah, there's a couple employees there that send me the emails they're getting. So I get those. But then this employee told me the weird thing is that they never sent out an initial lockdown email, only the all clear one. No added security this morning either. And this whole time, the last 2 weeks, there's been no added security. No one in the hospital has been getting any threats that this employee knows of. Most people didn't even know that I had tweeted out all these videos originally. They're just playing victim, trying to shift the narrative away from their own words that everyone heard in the videos that I tweeted out, and they're trying to make themselves into a victim. But there's really not that much going on there.
What are their own
fake
words
news
that you tweeted? Is that
It's
stuff you
actually
can talk about on
shocking, yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah, it's all these. So
They were on YouTube. These videos were on YouTube.
They had all these-
until They
yeah.
took them down.
Yeah, they had all these videos on their YouTube channel, and I was alerted to one of them, so I tweeted it out. It was about gender-affirming hysterectomies, how they will cut out the uterus of a girl or young woman to affirm her gender. And it started to take off. Post Millennial wrote about it, and I thought I better record this because it's getting some steam going here. And of course, they deleted the video. So then I tweeted out my recorded version of it. I sent it to Libs of TikTok. I sent it to Matt Walsh. They retweeted it for me. It went viral. And in the meantime, I recorded about 40 other videos from their YouTube site that they have also deleted all of those now.
Are they still doing gender-affirming hysterectomies at the hospital?
Yeah. And they even changed their website. They had a page talking about how they do phalloplasties on 17-year-olds, or sorry, vaginoplasties. So it
was the vaginoplasties on the 17-year-olds, yeah.
This is where they create a neovagina for young men or boys. They castrate them and then invert the penis. It gets gruesome, guys. But anyway, they changed their website. It used to say 17-year-olds. Now it says 18-year-olds. They also claim that they follow the WPATH standards of care. So WPATH is the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. They write the standards of care that these gender clinics can follow if they feel like it. But WPATH is lowering the age for all of these surgeries right now, and their new standards of care are coming out next week. And in there, they recommend womb removal and testicle removal for 17-year-olds, breast removal for 15-year-olds. But a lot of these clinics are going even younger than that. I have Kellen Lackhart on video from Kaiser Permanente in Oakland, California, admitting that they cut off the breasts of a 12-year-old girl, and they're castrating 16-year-old boys. We have lots of stories like this. These places are out of control. There's no regulation.
But humans love boobs. That's the crazy thing, right? That but it's true. What does this look, Libby?
Well,
but I mean, like,
but these gender clinics treat them as expendable. Like, if someone wanted to cut off their foot, we wouldn't cut off their foot.
What I mean is, correct me if I'm wrong.
That was a thing. Like, there was the anyway. Go ahead.
I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that humans are the only mammalian species with permanently swollen breasts.
I believe so.
I believe that's true. So most mammals only start producing, and their breasts only engorge when they're child rearing. But humans are different. That's what I mean. Like, humans love boobs. And so it's this interesting thing just to see that they're telling children that these are bad things that you should get rid of, and they're performing mastectomies on minor girls.
Yeah, we've got Johanna Olsen Kennedy, who's one of the top specialists in the world, who runs the gender clinic at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. She's on video talking about a 13-year-old girl who got her breasts cut off, and she says, "What's the big deal? If they want to get breasts when they're older, they can just go buy them."
You also have...
What do they think breasts are?
Right. You also have doctors on TikTok saying that they're going to yeet the teats. And that's what they say. Yeah. They're like, I'm going to yeet teats tomorrow. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And they get all into it. Olson Kennedy was also, I think, a doctor who was treating the child of an ABC executive who was at Disney, who was then advocating against the parental rights and education bill.
She also, get this, guys, she applied for a grant and was given a grant. It went to 4 hospitals. The NIH, National Institute of Health, gave $5.7 million to 4 different children's hospitals. As part of the grant, they reduced the age that these kids could receive the opposite sex hormones. So this is girls getting testosterone or boys getting estrogen. Well, they reduced the age as part of this grant from 13 years of age to 8 years old.
But I also want to make sure we're clarifying here. They're not actually giving kids testosterone or estrogen. They're giving them pseudo, right? It's a faux. It's not actual human hormones.
Well, yeah, it's synthetic testosterone.
Right.
I don't know how they produce it, but yeah.
But so this is an important factor because for a long time I thought they were giving legitimate human hormones to children. They're not. It's synthetic, or it comes from animals, or things like that. There have been older trans people who have advocated for like horse estrogen or something like that. I've seen posted on forums. So what I end up reading is that some of these kids end up with very serious ailments based on the hormones they're getting because they're not quite the same. I think one example of because I'm not a biologist or a chemist or anything like that, but people talk about soy and how soy feminizes people. But I believe soy is phytoestrogen, which is it's a different form. It's like less potent or something like that. That I'm not saying necessarily what that means, other than there are different kinds of estrogen that affect the body in similar ways, but they are different.
Okay. Yeah, and plus it doesn't belong in their body. Like they have a small amount of testosterone, girls do naturally, but they're getting dosages that are 20 times what they're supposed to have.
But what I mean is, if a human being's body produces human testosterone, then the body reacts to it. But I'd imagine if you give a human being horse testosterone or some other synthetic, it's going to react differently than it would to actual testosterone, but perhaps similarly.
And we don't know because this whole thing is a giant experiment, right? It's never been done in the history of the world. Whether you believe in God or you believe in evolution, well, obviously, if you believe in God, you're saying God made us wrong by doing this to kids. And if you believe in evolution, as I do, well, we've evolved over about 1 billion years. Humans have been on this planet only for maybe 300,000 years. But are we to believe now that for the first time in human history, in this little 10-year window, that a pharmaceutical company is here to help our children be who they really are?
You don't trust pharmaceutical companies?
Evolution got it all wrong, you know?
I love this notion that the left used to, like 10 years ago, they were like, these big pharma is bad. And now they're like, big pharma is good, my friend.
Well, it's all part of a piece, too, because you have on the, at Boston Children's, one of the founders of the gender clinic there was pioneering the use of puberty blockers in younger kids. And that was something, I think that was started in like 2013 or something like that. Boston Children's, as part of their promotional materials, was showing profiles of kids who came to the clinic specifically for being young and being cared for in this way at that clinic. And they talk about how they have to go into the hospital a lot. And they talk about this as a positive thing. You know, they know who I am and why I'm there. They have to get bone density scans. They have to get brain scans and all of this stuff.
Isn't
Puberty
there vision
blockers are,
too?
yeah, there's a lot of concerns. Also, the makers of these drugs don't recommend that you be on them for more than like 3 or 4 months. And kids are going on them for years at a time and then being ushered onto cross-sex hormones. So that's an issue as well. And the way that the trans kids are promoted, I think, is also really a dangerous thing because they look so happy and smiling. And it's like, yeah, you look great for these photo ops, you know, like, well, but let's see what's really going on. Why do you need brain scans and bone scans? And yeah.
20-year prediction.
Oh, this is done.
You think it'll be gone? There will be no more?
Way before that.
Way before that. But
That's
what about
nice
these?
and
What about these
optimistic.
people?
They're harmed for life. They are literally lifetime medical patients. When you cut out the womb of a girl, sometimes they cut out just the uterus, sometimes they cut out the ovaries as well. So if this girl gets a little older, she gets to be 25 years of age, her brain's finished developing now, she says, what the heck did you do to me? I have all these medical complications. She's gone through menopause.
Yeah.
You cut out their ovaries sometimes. That's instant menopause. That has 100 side effects of its own. Early onset dementia, osteoporosis, all sorts of issues. A young woman in DC messaged me 2 days ago. She was rushed to the ER 3 times because she's on testosterone and it was damaging her kidneys.
Wow.
These-
I heard that causes the blood to thicken up too.
There's so many things.
think estrogen
And we
might
don't
do
even
that.
know them all. You mentioned vision loss. The FDA just 3 or 4 weeks ago issued a warning saying that these kids' brains are swelling up and they're suffering permanent vision loss. This is news. A young girl in Sweden suffered spinal fractures while she was on puberty blockers. 12 other kids there at the Karolinska Hospital suffered catastrophic injuries. And they've stopped this in Sweden. They've stopped it in Finland.
Tavistock in the UK.
In England, they're shutting down the Tavistock, which is the only gender clinic.
They are spreading it out though and making it regional.
Yeah, but
It's going to be
they're going to
different.
totally redo how it's
Yeah,
going on,
yeah.
and it's not going to be nearly as extreme. And I just want to mention one more thing, what never gets talked about enough. At the Tavistock, where we have good statistics because there was only one gender clinic that all the kids went to in England, 35% of the children had moderate to severe autism. That number goes above 50% when you include the mild cases. And all these children's hospitals here in the US have partnerships with autism organizations. It's like providing a funnel of kids for them. And if you look at the Children's National Hospital website in DC, where I was just at yesterday, 2 days ago, right on their website, they have a gender autism program. And it states right on their website that they don't yet know why so many autistic kids experience gender nonconformity, but that doesn't stop them from sterilizing them.
Why do you think they experience gender nonconformity, autistic kids?
From all the parents I've spoken to, these kids already feel like they don't fit in. They tend to obsess over things. They're feeling like they don't fit in, and this ideology is coming along, and it's being presented as the cure for them. That it's because they're trapped in the wrong body, which is why they don't feel like a typical girl. And that by transitioning, this is going to solve all their problems. But all these kids at these gender clinics have comorbidities going on. They've got autism. Some of them will grow up to be gay. All of our studies into gender dysphoria show that 80 to 90% of the time, when kids went through puberty, it desisted, and the majority of them were gay. The most recent study that came out followed 139 boys from about the age of 5 all the way into their 20s. 87.8% of them, they just grew out of it. 64% grew up to be gay. So in addition to all the other harm that's going on, this is actually a deeply homophobic movement that's telling kids just because they don't conform to stereotypes, that this must mean they're trapped in the wrong body. And my message is one of body positivity. If a girl wants to climb trees, play in the dirt, throw around a football, hates wearing dresses and wants to have short hair, guess what? She's 100% girl. It doesn't mean she's a boy. It means she's
That's
a tomboy.
the weird thing. This movement just reinforces gender stereotypes.
It sure does.
That's all it is.
They call it social constructs. But then if someone exhibits what is clearly, as they describe, a social construct, they say, well, got to get surgery and drugs.
Right.
Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, now does it?
No, it's actually
What if the stereotypes
totally
of society
perverse.
change?
Yeah. It's
I mean,
totally
look,
perverse.
people in Scotland wear skirts. You know what I mean?
This
You know,
doctor...
So what if like some kid from
Yeah.
Scotland comes over and they're like, he's wearing a skirt.
Oh,
Get the surgery ready.
oops, we already chopped his nuts off. Sorry. Right?
Yikes.
So these doctors at Boston Children's Hospital, in their own videos, we have this doctor saying that if a little toddler girl, tries to pee standing up, that's a sign she's a boy. If a little boy doesn't want to get a haircut, that's a sign he's a girl. She literally states in this video that toys are one of the determining factors in our gender.
Well, and she's not the only one. This is being
They're
said
all like
by
this.
doctors all over the place. You know, if your child wants to play with trucks, and maybe they're not the gender that you think they are. And they talk about how kids very young ages can express that they're in the wrong bodies before they even know what a body is necessarily. It's also interesting, too, that American kids are prescribed psych drugs. Like 1 in 12 American kids is on a psychiatric medication. Most of these have not been FDA approved for kids under 18 as well. You have a lot of kids who are on these drugs. They're on like major drug cocktails of these things that are not approved for kids. And you also have a lot of the kids who are being prescribed these drugs are boys who are like lower class boys who have had multiple child abuse issues as well. And they're being given masses of psych and behavioral drugs. It's very weird it's very weird what we do to our kids. And we've been talking about that a lot tonight, I think, between all of the different kinds of drugs and medications, telling them what we think they are, what we think they're about. We're not educating them properly.
Well,
we're just trying to indoctrinate them. It's so
this is-
weird.
no,
we
but-
don't
but-
let kids exist.
There's also the inverse where I saw these pamphlets where they were like, let your children be who they are. And it's kind of like, I mean, you're the parent. You got to help the kid become who they're going to be, right?
And you have to reinforce them positively as well.
So I'll say it's not a blanket moral logic statement that indoctrination is bad. Indoctrination is a reference to typically instilling children with harmful things.
With values that are going to do them
Right.
wrong in life.
But could be good.
So the idea is
Feeding them a
you
doctrine
could
of some
technically use a word in a similar way if you're going to instill within your child values that will help them survive and be happy and flourish. You are instilling values into them that are good. What these parents are doing is either not instilling any values, letting your kid be who they are. Let your child tell you. It's like, I've heard a lot of things from a lot of kids that don't make sense. You know what I mean?
I was thinking last
Also,
night.
what happens when that kid tells you they are something that you don't like?
Like a rock.
Like a rock or a cat or
I'm a giraffe.
or
It's
a
like, you're not,
conservative.
I am now.
You know.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.